I'm pleased to rise to Mr Davis's motion 621. And, as Mr Davis quite eloquently put, this is a simple documents motion. It's simply suggesting, as the Brett Walker advice to the New South Wales Parliament stated, that this Parliament does have the ability to compel independent organisations or statutory organisations to provide documents to this Parliament. Under our Evidence Acts, under our Parliamentary Committee Acts, we see this. In fact, the Legal and Social Issues Committee has used that power a number of times in recent years to compel witnesses and documents to be brought forward to the committee as part of its inquiry process. So on the face of it, asking for a report or a review done by a statutory body such as VERIOC would seem quite simple, and would seem that Mr Walker's advice supports that. However, there is one, I think, very substantial fact that has not been mentioned by the very motion that's on the paper or by Mr Davis's contribution earlier, that there is a court order on this review. And not just a court order, it is a court of appeal. It is 3 judges ordering VERIOC not to publish the review or the report. So we are now asking, we're putting VERIOC into an extremely difficult position, I would suggest. And we're also, I would absolutely suggest, effectively overriding that order, or fighting or arguing to override the order of a court of appeal. The order of a court of appeal. Now, Mr Davis says that we're entitled to do that. But does that make it right? And what sort of precedents does that set? Last week, Mr O'Donoghue and myself put up amendments to limit the ability of the government of the day to expand suppression orders or victim privacy orders. And we were very concerned that this was giving the government too much power to make directions to the courts. We were specific about that, and Mr O'Donoghue, on behalf of the Liberal Party, and myself put up very similar amendments that successfully passed this House. Today, we're being asked to overrule a court order, overrule the Court of Appeal to do this. Now, Mr Davis says we have every right to do that. I'm yet to understand the public interest in doing that. I have great concerns of what sort of precedents this would set. Could a future government override a suppression order, override a victim privacy order, because they may suggest that it would be in the interest of the Parliament or the interest of the government of the day for that information to be made public? Now, this is a report that was done 5 years ago. If this motion was serious about achieving equality in our emergency services, well, that would have been an interesting motion to debate. How do we do that? And I know I have a constituent she's a terrific football player at Fitzroy. She just got into the fire services. Just last week she was accepted in, and she's extremely excited about this. And I'm very pleased to see that. But she will be in the minority. She will be still sadly just of a handful of female firefighters. And I would support anything that changed that. But to overturn a court of appeal and to put the very treasured institution of VERIOC into a position where they will be in contempt of court or contempt of Parliament, you choose. I choose not to put them into that position. And today is Democracy Day. So, and I certainly feel that one of the pillars of our democracy is that separation, that clear separation of powers. It is one of the pillars of our democracy. And I feel that this would be an absolute egregious encroachment on that separation.